The Xbox one?
I don't know. It says Star Wars Force Unleashed 2. Let me see.
Oh
Claim
yeah,
game.
yeah. That was the. It's actually really good. If you like old school Star Wars lore, it's basically Darth Vader has an apprentice, like not Ahsoka, but has an apprentice, and it's Star Killer. I fucking highly recommend that story. Really, really, really good.
Alrighty. Just make sure Craig works.
Now recording.
I don't know. Did we ever record? I don't think we ever recorded the 5 minute intro.
Eh, who cares? I mean, this is the bonus episode that we didn't expect to do this week anyway.
Armored Core. And I was thinking about, do we call this a bonus episode? Because technically we missed an episode.
Well, I mean, I have it listed.
Bonus?
I'm streaming it as episode 112.
Yeah. So it's, I mean,
Yeah.
bonus as in you thought you weren't going to get one, but you did.
Yeah.
I
So
guess
yeah,
that's a bonus. Yeah, welcome to PixPod episode 12. If you're watching the live stream,
112,
what did I say?
12.
Same shit. Episode 112. If you're watching the live stream, you're not really seeing our pretty faces right now, and you're you're probably hearing the pigs wake up on the farm. But if you're listening to the audio, uh, I was thinking if you're watching the live stream, you're a few days behind. You thought you didn't get an episode this week. But if you're listening to the audio, we normally release it on Tuesday or Wednesday anyways, so it's like
Yeah. So if
you
all
won't
goes well,
notice.
yeah, if all goes well, we'll get it out anyway.
Yeah, you won't even notice. Uh, yeah, I had stuff I had to do on my car. We'll get the boring stuff out of the way, or we got the intro going with the bacon. I had to fix. I had to. So on Saturday, I started working out last week. I've done it every day. I've done it at least 20 minutes on the treadmill, but then additional stuff like abs and arms and stuff. Well, stupid me on Saturday, I was like, now's a good day for chest and arms day, upper body. And
Yeah.
then on Sunday, I had to go to the junkyard and pull an exhaust. Like our junkyard is one of those you go into and pull your own parts. You pay like $1 to get in, and then you
Yeah.
pull your parts, and then you pay for the part on the way out. Yeah.
Right.
So the day after I did that, my arms and chest are like dying. So I'm under a car, like trying to get off a fucking exhaust. Like I just figured because a brand new exhaust system was like $250, $300, somewhere around there,
Right.
and it's a 2004 Toyota. I was like, I can go to the junkyard and get one for $40. Even if the first one, like something's wrong with it, I can just go back and get a different one for another $40 and still save money. Like, so I walked around. They had like 7 or 8 Toyotas, so I just found like the best looking exhaust that didn't look like it had any issues or rust or anything. Uh, the dumb part was they cut it like right behind the cat,
Right.
so like right where you connect it to the cat. So they cut off that connection, but instead of cutting in front of it so you could still use that connection to hook it up to your system, they cut it like 4 inches behind that, so you don't have that connection, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, I had to pull the exhaust there, fit it into my car, which I kind of had it hanging out because
Right.
your exhaust goes all the way up under your car, so it
Right.
doesn't fit in your car. So I've got the back seat and the fucking trunk open, and it's hanging out. It's fucking it's touching underneath my radio. I put like a water bottle there with like half full of air, so like it wouldn't fucking poke into my dash. Brought it back home, and then I had to pull mine off of my car and then put that one on my car, and then also attach it, you know, making my own connections because it's missing that connection piece. All right after doing chest and arm day. So yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we didn't get to the podcast. I didn't finish till like fucking 10 at night, and it was dark, and I was like, fuck, I need to go test drive it real quick. But yeah,
Hey, now we're on.
now we're on. Welcome to Pigs Pod. you're watching the live stream, uh, you get to see our pretty faces. If
Yay!
not,
Hello.
don't forget the audio podcast comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday every week. Same shit, different toilet. You get what you get.
Yeah.
It's normally Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, whatever. Uh, yeah, you don't get to see our pretty faces, I guess. Sorry.
That's on you.
Yeah, episode 112. What is it?
112.
August 29th, 2023.
Yep. This episode will end going into August the 30th. I figure we'll keep it relatively short, maybe like an hour.
Yeah, we just finished D&D and we were talking about Ahsoka and Star Wars and stuff, and we had some thoughts, and we like we talked for 20 minutes, and I was like, Q's like, we could just do an episode. I'm like, we should be doing an episode. So we're gonna have to rediscuss the things we discussed.
Well, all right. So I'll go ahead and go back to where I was at, and I can catch everybody up as you're listening and whatnot. I'm really annoyed that Lars Mikkelsen, that was the voice of Thrawn, was the voice actor that did Thrawn in the Rebels show. He was also the voice actor that was in the books. So if you listen to the Thrawn books on audiobook,
On audio.
yeah,
Okay.
and
For a second, you lost me. I was like, what do you mean in the books? The books are word.
Yeah.
They don't play.
Well,
audio.
if you only, and I recommend you should, Oreo. I think Rebel, we had some shit go down on Sunday, so things changed. So we're doing a late episode because we were discussing Star Wars earlier after D&D, and I'm like,
we already talked about this. Rabble was in the intro.
It was in the intro. You should have been here.
We're on Star Wars now.
But I highly recommend that you listen to the audiobooks that are the 2 Thrawn series, the most recent Thrawn trilogies, because they've done basically it's like a radio show. It's like an audio show. They've got different voice actors doing different characters. It's really, really good. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. And
I have to check it. I'd probably respect Thrawn even more. I mean, he's really good in Rebels. But...
You will, especially the first trilogy about that they released with Thrawn. That was basically how he became a part of the Empire, and he was the only person in the Empire to figure out that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker, because in the first book, well, I would say in the Empire. Like I said, that doesn't include in the Empire itself. Because
they just don't know that.
No. It is a hugely guarded secret. No one knows.
I guess the Emperor just kind of introduces him. He goes, "Here's my Padawan, Darth Vader."
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. Remember, it just comes back to like episode 1. Now there are 2 of them. But
somehow Palpatine returned.
Oh, god damn it! Don't fucking even. We got to talk about that too, because I got some speculations there. Not necessarily speculations, but dreams.
Yeah,
but
Ahsoka and current Mandoverse, Filoniverse.
So go back and watch, or no, excuse me, go back and listen to the audiobooks for the Thrawn trilogy, because the first book is pre Clone Wars. Well, during the Clone Wars, maybe early Clone Wars, maybe like between episodes 1 and 2, where Anakin is dispatched to go to this planet, and while he's on the planet, he meets this other guy that's been stranded on the planet, and this guy's got blue skin, and they go on these adventures together, and Anakin's like, holy shit, this guy is really fucking smart. And then it's Thrawn, and Thrawn is like, holy shit, this dude is a pretty badass. I don't know what this guy is. He can do things that we don't understand, and
he cuts down children without a second.
Oh yeah,
thought. It's fucking crazy.
With the fucking Youngling Slayer 9000, and so.
Did they ever sit around the campfire and Anakin's telling them the story? One time I cut.
This hadn't happened. That hadn't happened yet. But
okay. So this is okay.
But Anakin brings him back into the Empire, and the Emperor recognizes that there's something special about Thrawn, and they send him to the Officers Naval Academy, where he goes and learns like all of the Imperial naval officer stuff, and the dude just fires up through the ranks because what they don't realize is Thrawn was already a naval officer in the Chiss, which is their species. In the Chiss, in the
He
yeah,
has experience.
yeah, he was already like a colonel or something in the Chiss military. So it's not like this is anything new for him. So he's way on top of like military tactics and these things. So in the Chiss Empire is from the unknown regions of the Star Wars galaxy. So they had no contact with the Empire. The Empire didn't know they existed, and vice versa. And the Chiss was just learning about the Empire moving into their area. So the Chiss sent their best warrior, which was Mithron Nudu Udu, which is the full name of Thrawn. That's his full name is Mithron Udu Udu.
There's no way I'd not be able to say that without making fun. Mithron.
Yeah, Mithron. Yeah. So
Dubu.
so they shortened it. So he shortened it down to Thrawn because that's just basically the language thing. Call me Thrawn. So they send him, and he ends up getting stranded on this island or this planet, and there's all this. But Anakin gets him off, sends him to the naval school. He comes out, and he's an officer. He's a low level. I think he's a captain. I think he comes out as a captain, and but he moves up through the naval ranks and catches the eye of the Emperor, and the Emperor realizes that there's really something special about Thrawn and kind of gives him more clout and moving up. But meanwhile,
show me more, Papa Smurf.
yeah, and so meanwhile, that's when the Republic falls and the Empire is reestablished, and then that's when Thrawn kind of comes out of the Naval Academy, is at the beginning of the Empire. So he's serving directly under the Emperor, taking on these special tasks. And Darth Vader gets jealous, like straight up is jealous of Thrawn because of the relationship between Thrawn and the Emperor. So the Emperor knows this, and he knows that like everything that happens in the world of the Emperor, the Emperor knows that Darth Vader is more powerful than he is. He knows it, but he goes out of his way to create situations where Darth Vader is less powerful, so he's easier to control. So,
Yeah.
so the Emperor pairs them both together and sends them out to deal with this rebel insurgency. And while they're on this mission, they start having these conversations back and forth, and it's really cool because you get like these Darth Vader conversations and dialogue that isn't one liner Dark Lord of the Sith type stuff. It's like actual like conversation stuff. And Thrawn's like, man, he sounds familiar. Like the story he's telling and the cadence and the way he's telling things, he sounds familiar. And then by the end of the series, Thrawn's like, holy fuck, that's Anakin. I've met him before. And all of the other people that have figured out that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, the Emperor or Darth Vader has killed him. Like, you don't need to know. But when Vader realizes that Thrawn knows, Vader wants to kill him. And the Emperor steps in and is like, no, he is a valuable asset.
What the fuck is that about?
You can't kill him. So
Either you or me or Craig just left. I hope he's recording still. That was weird. Disconnected, reconnected. Well, we'll see how that works. All right.
yeah, it says yeah. Well, we can always pull it off the VOD, so it's there.
Yeah.
It says he's
funny. They're like walking down the hall of Darth Vader and some guy, and he's I don't know, Lord Vader. And Lord Vader says something. Anakin?
yeah, that's basically kind of how it goes. But I super recommend the Thrawn trilogy. It's so
6 books.
yeah. There's 3 books that are pre Empire and 3 books that are post Empire, and they are and they're written by Timothy Zahn, who is the brainchild of Grand Admiral Thrawn and the OG Star Wars writer.
But what we really need to talk about, though, is how you feel And I feel for a different reason.
Oh yeah, we need to jump forward.
You
Yeah.
feel that in the Ahsoka show, which there's now 2 episodes out. Technically, there's 3 out right now as we're recording this. The third one just came out, but we haven't watched it yet. In the Ahsoka verse, you think he's going to be super underwhelming, overhyped,
Well,
just not as good as what we got in Rebels, not as good what's in the books.
we're not the character itself. No, the character itself is going to be what we want. My complaint stems from the fact that they're using the voice actor. That's what got us on on this topic. The voice actor that played
Lars
Thrawn
Mikkelsen.
and Lars Mikkelsen. He's the voice actor of Thrawn from the TV show, and he's the voice actor that did the books. Wonderful guy. He's the brother of the other Mikkelsen fella that was what's her face? Jen Erso's dad in Rogue One, which I think that's kind of cool. Q is super loud compared to Oreo. Well, if that's the case, I can fix that on my end. Let's see.
That's fine. I think he's going to be underwhelming in Ahsoka because I feel like what you've seen in the previews
See if that sounds better.
is almost all you're going to see of him at all in the show.
I hope not. I hope
I
not.
think we're going to get like half an episode of Thrawn. It's going to be towards the end. It might not even be the final episode. It might be before that, and then we get another episode, and he's just not really in it.
If they do that to us, if they hype this that we're going to get Thrawn, but we only get Thrawn in like the last episode or two, that's going to be really, really disappointing. Because this whole thing, because early reactions to episode 3, which we haven't seen yet, is and this is spoilers if you've not seen it yet. Okay. Thank you, Rebel. There's no more spoilers than we haven't seen it either. It's just speculation of things we've seen online. Is that basically the Ahsoka show is becoming the Sabine show, which if that's true, and this is basically going to be more about Sabine, I'm fucking all for. I'm there. I love her.
Yeah,
but
for Sabine fans like us,
but that's Sabine's motivation. Ezra is Sabine's motivation. They were in the the Rebel series. Ezra was really attracted to Sabine, but as things progressed, they became more like brother and sister. That's the reason why she stayed on Lothal, was to look after Lothal after he was gone, because that's what he asked her to do. Like, hey, something happens to me, you've got to look after Lothal. This is my home planet, yada yada. So that's all she cares about. So if we've got to go through the entire series of her, Prince Ezra is in another castle. Fuck that. Like, give us what we want. Give us Thrawn,
I feel like
give
we're
us
not
Ezra,
going to get
let's
Thrawn.
Let's go.
There's 8 episodes, right? I think.
To my knowledge, yes.
I feel like we'll get Thrawn in episode 7, and then I feel like we'll see Ezra for a little bit in episode 8.
That would
Some people are thinking we won't see Ezra at all, and that's going to be all second season. But I don't think so. They'll show him, but it just won't be much of either.
I can't have that.
We'll get like half an episode, maybe 2 an episode worth of Thrawn, and then we're gonna get like 15 minutes worth of Ezra.
But see, here's the thing: is if they can't do that, because at the end of the day, you still have to placate the people that don't know that don't know Star Wars Rebels. So
yeah,
if you spend 6 episodes hyping up a character that they know nothing about, I mean, assuming they've watched Mando, all they're going to know from that,
don't know
yeah,
Thrawn or anything.
No. The only thing you know from Mando about Thrawn is that one episode where Ahsoka's like, "Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?" That's it.
Yeah.
By the way, side note, I learned this today. The woman that was in that scene, that was the Imperial officer, whatever she was, and then she's under arrest in the second episode of Ahsoka. That's Bruce Lee's granddaughter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's the reason why when you see her in the yellow prison jumpsuit, that's like a super throwback to. I haven't heard anything for like 5 minutes, so maybe you have to restart
Uh-oh.
Craig.
Uh-oh.
Oh God. Well, I guess we could just pull it. We
Uh-oh.
could just pull it off the VOD.
Oh, fuck.
God damn it, Craig.
Oh, God. Maybe let's restart him.
Okay, we'll
What the
restart him.
fuck?
God damn it.
This
Sit here
Craig's
and
like,
mark time.
I don't work unless it's a fucking Sunday. Done. What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
Join. Let's try again, man. What is that to join those? I don't fucking know what the fuck.
Yeah, that's a future. That's a you problem.
What
But
the hell? All right.
so
Anyways.
the scene where she's in the yellow prison jumpsuit, that's a direct Easter egg throwback to the Bruce Lee yellow karate gi that he wore in like Enter the Dragon. There was like the yellow Bruce Lee outfit that you can think of when you think of Bruce Lee. It was tailored as a homage to him. And
That's his granddaughter?
That's his granddaughter. Like I think that's so fucking cool.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea.
I didn't either. I saw it on TikTok today.
So, let's talk about Ahsoka.
All right.
Good things and bad things.
Good things. They got so much right.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got
Chopper's fucking perfect.
Chopper.
Sabine is. I like Sabine. I like
Perfect.
the actress. That is Sabine.
That's yeah. The mayor of the city there at Lothal.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
That's the same voice actor that played the That was him and yep, that's him. That's also Biff from Back to the Future. Yep, same guy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I mean, they like I said, lots of like
Is it? He looks so
Yeah,
damn.
yeah.
No way.
Yep. And then the kid that was introduced with him, the other hero that they were talking about in the beginning during that whole that whole ceremony, that's the voice actor that was when Ezra went to the Imperial cadet school and was undercover and he made friends with that other boy. That's the voice actor that played that character. So that character that was in the cartoon that was, was that? Yep.
Biff?
Yeah, that's Biff.
You sure? God damn, he looks
Yeah.
so much different.
Yeah,
looked
it's
up
fucking- yeah.
the actor's name and even just pictures of him without makeup and shit.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, ain't it? But so they got a lot of things right. There's the scene where Sabine is walking up to the mural and she touches Ezra's face.
That's cool. That's cool if you've seen Rebels. I think
Well-
the way they introduced Sabine was cool for everyone. Everyone's like, all right, cool. And they
Well-
got the fucking rock music playing. And
Well, here's
she's
the-
fucking
Here's the thing.
ignoring everything.
Here's the thing. There's speculation that episode was bouncing around the timeline. That when she did the whole standing in front of the mural scene, that was literally them redoing the ending scene from Rebels in live action. Because she goes up, she touches the face, she turns, she sees Ahsoka, and she goes to go with Ahsoka. That it's not really about going and getting Ezra, as it is going back and redoing that scene. So there's a lot of speculation that these two episodes bounced around a lot in the timeline. Which
I don't know. I didn't feel that. I felt like they were just
I felt they were
Lying
more.
about
I felt
that.
I felt they were more in that period of, post Rebels. That this is really Rebels season 6 or whatever it is,
yeah.
which is
Wow.
fine. But there's been a lot of talk that there's been a lot of bouncing around, which I'm cool with. But if you watch the mannerisms that she had for her character in live action, as is in comparison to in the TV show, god damn, she got it right. Yeah, she did.
She still holds her saber fucking weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's
It's not like the normal Jedi hold
Yeah.
it. She holds
Well-
it like Sabine.
right. Well, then Sabine, number one, she's not a Jedi. She doesn't have really a strong connection to the Force, but and she's not being trained by Jedi. Ezra wasn't a Jedi. Kanan wasn't a Jedi. He was a Padawan at best. And Ahsoka never
I thought
ascended to
I
Jedi
thought
Knight.
Kanan was technically a Jedi.
No, no, his master died in Order 66. Like
Oh,
he never got that ascension. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he studied. He would pass the trials, but he was never granted the rank. Which is a big
oh,
deal.
you would not grant me the rank of Jedi?
Yeah. So, but I mean, you can tell the actors and actresses really, really sat down and was like, "We're gonna binge watch all of the episodes that my character is in, and I'm gonna learn them." But which brings us to what was the whole reason why we decided to do this episode
Mhm.
late and not on the same
There's
day.
there's only one. There's only one of the actors or actresses that I kind of have a problem with.
And I agree with you, but I also see why they went that direction. And that
Yeah,
and that
now
is
that you've explained it, we're gonna have to talk what we're talking about.
yeah, so it's Rosario Dawson. It is Ahsoka.
Yeah,
I call myself I'm an Ahsoka purist. So it really should be Ashley Eccleston that was the voice actress in Rebels in Clone Wars.
yeah,
If you had all these, like we just named off all these different actors and actresses that are reprising their roles as voice actors playing the live action character,
yeah.
they all get to reprise their roles.
It'd be
But
nice if Sabine too, but I don't mind the actress they got for Sabine.
oh god, I could
And
oof, I could look at her all day long. She's gorgeous.
I I like Ashley Eckstein. And I was thinking though, before we recorded, I'm like, man, some acting is different than voice acting.
It's true. It's true.
Ashley Eckstein is probably one of, she's one of those, she's a fucking rock star
Right.
voice actress. I don't know how well she acts. I haven't seen her in anything. I think all she's done is voice acting.
Um.
But at the same time, she is Ahsoka.
She knows Ahsoka. She knows her
Yeah.
inside and out. She eats, sleeps, and breathes Ahsoka. I mean,
Or
that's her
she goes
character.
to cons as Ahsoka. She
Yeah,
does her
she's
mannerisms and everything there, so
she's
she could
she.
probably figure it out.
I
She's
think she would be.
talented.
I think she would be just fine. And even if she was 50% as talented as Rosario Dawson is in portraying Ahsoka,
Mhm.
she would get that 50% back in the voice.
Yeah. Well,
Because you could
and
close your eyes and hear it and you're like, oh yeah, that's Ahsoka, no big deal.
I think Rosario Dawson is an amazing actress, and
Agreed.
I feel like she actually dumbs down her talent, trying so hard to nail Ahsoka.
That's
I
fair.
feel like
That's fair. I'll give you
I
that.
feel like I feel like some moments I'm like, man, that was like
When she
just a weird moment for like a second. I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead.
when she when she takes like the step back and she does like the arms crossed, that that all the internet's like Ahsoka doesn't do that, and then there's like a compilation of Ahsoka doing it in 40
Yeah,
episodes of Clone Wars and Rebels. Um, like she nails it. Like she gets it. But she's a great actress, so she can
yeah,
really. I mean, especially when you look at it, if it, she would not be as good of an actress of doing Ahsoka. This is just opinion. If she didn't have so much source material,
yeah.
but I mean, you've got
Well, that's
hours.
she's trying to method act and feel the Ahsoka.
Yeah,
The difference between her and Ashley is okay. You have Rosario Dawson is trying to. She's kind of doing her own voice, but she's trying to nail all these mannerisms and all these other things. And she's trying to make it all fit.
right.
Where, like, if you put Ashley up there, all she would be trying to do, she already knows all of her attitude and the fucking different things she's do. She already knows the character. So all she would be struggling with is how do I portray that on a screen instead of
Yeah.
just my voice?
So and then basically we're getting the polar direct opposite of that with Rosario. Is like she
Yeah.
can she can put that character to to be a physical
Yeah.
representation of that.
But
But
then
then,
she's trying to
yeah,
make the voice also fit it and like the make it fit the attitude and stuff. And like you said, you get it. They wanted a darker, like more
I think so
kind of
too.
grimy.
I think they
And
needed a
Ashley can't do that.
no. I think they needed a darker, more gruff, more mature, more aged, more experienced voice that I guarantee Ashley could give us. Without a doubt,
Yeah.
she's a fantastic voice actress.
Well, when you
I
said that
feel
earlier when we were recording before, it made me think of the what's that guy in Guardians of the Galaxy? The Rock. He's made of rock, and he's in that hallway when they go in the hall. I think it's in the first one.
I don't
What the
fucking
fuck is
know.
his name?
I'll take your
And,
word for it. Anyway,
and when he talks, he has like a high pitched, like weird, like you're like that doesn't fit his character. And like
yeah.
Korg, I think is his name. Korg. I looked him up. His name's Korg. He's like made of rock. He's wearing armor. He's like sitting in the hallway. He's also in Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
Yeah, his voice like doesn't fit the character at all. It's probably the furthest away from like.
Right.
There's always going to be problems from voice acting, and then when you try to do a live action thing, and like,
Right. 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 Right.
but like I don't, I feel like, uh, piss off, Ghost. What's that? I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, yeah, and
Oh, that's the guy that says piss off, Ghost. Yeah,
yeah.
he has a super high, like, doesn't fit the character, but he's a lovable character. I feel like there'd be no problem with Ashley because she already is the voice.
See, I
She is
agree.
the voice of
She,
Ahsoka.
even if she's not as talented as Rosario is with just acting in general.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason Filoni picked her to play
Yeah.
Ahsoka in the first place for the animation because she nails the character.
Well, they wanted that from her in the early days because she was young. She was what, 12, 13 in the show, or well,
Yeah.
that age ish as far as whatever the
But
fuck her
even
her
like I don't
her
know.
eight species name is.
You
But
can also just still let her have a higher voice. She doesn't have to have a deeper, raspier voice like
that's
Rosario
true.
Dawson.
I agree with that. I mean, maybe it's me just trying to rationalize away my sadness of not seeing Ashley on the screen.
I think the
But
problem is that when you screen test it and you go, which one is this is going to sound bad, but this isn't coming from me. This is coming from people of the world. I'm blaming them.
yeah.
Which one's hotter and which one pulls more audience? Which one's a bigger name?
Oh yeah, Rosario is a bigger name, but I think Ashley's hotter. But that's my opinion.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't go with either one of them. If I had to pick one, I'd maybe squeak out Rosario. I don't know. They're about the same to me.
yeah, I mean, I don't
But
know.
if you're saying in the grand scheme of things, like who's gonna pull more numbers, then yeah, you got to throw Rosario at it. But
And I mean, I'm not mad about it. And that's what I want to like stress is like I'm not mad,
well, it's like
but I'm just
the
kind of
weird part.
bummed. You know.
Like Pedro Pascal has barely been playing the Mandalorian, and I'm hearing rumors that he's not even going to play him at all in the next season. But they still leave his name attached to it again because of that pull.
Yeah. Is
Having
he
his name attached to
is
it.
he still going to give us the voice acting? Because I mean, that's from what I gather, that's what he was doing those in the episode or in the seasons of Mando. It was more
Yeah,
his
that's
voice
what I've
acting
heard.
than it was
I've heard
his
the rumor
person.
is, yeah, I've heard the rumor. He's just doing that. He won't even be in the armor at all anymore.
I ain't mad about it.
And
Yeah,
so I
I
think,
that didn't upset me at all.
yeah, which means if that's how it is, then they just don't show his face, and he's more true to keeping the helmet on. I
Oh,
don't know.
and
I don't know how the next.
I just got a message from Heather. It's not granddaughter, it's goddaughter. Bruce
Well,
Lee's goddaughter. So I was close.
Same
Same
thing.
thing. Same thing.
It's right there. The branches on the tree,
Yeah,
the family
that
tree are right there. Same there.
yeah, the G thing is whatever. But yeah, it's the goddaughter. But yeah, no, she's 100% right. She's a big Bruce Lee fan,
Yeah.
so
My
she's quick to
biggest part
correct
though
me.
is like, if I'm being totally honest, either one, it's fine. You're gonna get about the same thing, whichever actress you go with. actors and actresses can pull as much as they want, you know, and do their best job. We've talked about it on this show before. One of my least favorite movies I've ever seen, which is funnily enough named the exact same as one of my favorite Star Wars animated series. It's called The Bad Batch, but not the Bad Batch animation, the Star Wars. It's called The Bad Batch movie. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because in The Bad Batch is Jason Momoa, Keanu Reeves, Jim Carrey, Giovanni Ribisi. Uh,
What? That's
uh,
a movie?
yeah,
Really?
same name. It's got Diego Luna from fucking uh, Andor. Like it's fucking stacked. Like, did you know Jason Momoa, Keanu Reeves, Jim Carrey did a movie together?
No, that's what I'm sitting here going. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard this.
I swear we've talked about it on the show, but yeah, it's called The Bad Batch, and it's one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen.
Where can I watch it? What's it on? I want to watch it.
It was on Netflix, I believe. So it's basically in the future, dystopian future where there's not much money and so they don't have money for prisons. So when they put people in prison, they just put them like in this desert area and go, "You're in the Bad Batch now," and they like lock them in this desert area. And in this desert area is where all these people live. And one of the funniest things in it is Keanu Reeves calls himself the Dream. And I swear we talked about this. Remember the Dream is Inside Me shirts? Do you remember talking about that?
No, I don't. When did we talk about
Okay.
this?
So Keanu Reeves calls himself the Dream, and he throws like these big parties in the desert, and all his bodyguards and everyone that lives in his mansion with him are all pregnant ladies that he's gotten pregnant, and they all have like M16s and MP5s and like machine guns and shit, and every single one of them is wearing a shirt. Remember, they're pregnant from him, the Dream. Every one of them is wearing a shirt that says "The Dream is inside me."
I don't think we talked
Eh,
about this on the show because I feel like I would have
no.
remembered that.
Oh my God. Jason Momoa, Jim Carrey. This is how you know it's a bad movie. They hired Jim Carrey. He says maybe one line in the movie. Why bother getting Jim Carrey? Fucking a fantastic. Okay. He can do all the mannerisms and this like silent acting. I get it, but like it seems so weird to even hire him if you're gonna give him one fucking line in the movie. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Why is he here?
yeah, it has a 5 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Oh, there we go. That's our
It,
Pigs Pod movie night because I've never heard of
yeah.
this.
Oh my God. Yeah, we should watch it. We should watch it. Yeah, I have a real problem with it. It's so bad. It's so bad. And so the only point I'm getting at is you stack it like that. That doesn't mean anything. No matter how much your actors and actresses can bring to a show. Getting back to my point about Ahsoka, either one, Ashley or Rosario, fine. It still comes back to the writing. It
Right.
still
I
comes
agree.
back to, yeah, like even there is one thing that does kind of pull me out, and it has nothing to do with the writing. And it's this new thing Disney is doing with every fucking show, not just Star Wars. And like, maybe I'm the only one that it's bugging, but I noticed it a lot in the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. Their green screen room that they're doing, everything no longer feels real. I don't feel like I'm in that environment. I feel like I'm in a
Hmm.
closet watching somebody act in a closet. Like
Okay, I can kind of get that.
Ahsoka will have like this big, huge landscape behind her and stuff, and you're like, yeah, it looks cool, but for some reason, I don't believe it. I don't feel like I'm there, and
Okay, yeah, I
maybe
give you that.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe I'm getting in my own head, and I'm just
I
every
think you.
time I see
I think you are.
every time I see a landscape, I'm like that. You're in a room. It's not real, faker.
Oh yeah, I know. I definitely think you're overthinking it and just not enjoying the.
Yeah,
You just just take the
it takes me out
story
of the
and yeah.
moment though. Like I don't know.
But no, I
I
think you're
know
overthinking it.
I'm not the only one thinking it though, because I did see somebody else comment online that said like the same thing. It feels like the whole like show so far, the first 2 episodes, feel like they were filmed in a closet.
No, I mean I can give it to you. I mean I get it, but at some point And I
There's
guess
just
maybe
there's
this
no
is
interaction, and it's just weird. They're like, even like when they're fighting, like on the when Rosario's fighting the Inquisitor and the robot, like on the little landing strip or whatever the fuck, where they're trying to leave.
right.
Literally no interaction. Even the shadows on the ground are fake, and you can kind of see it. But regardless of that, like there's just no interaction. It just feels like, oh, you just threw it. It feels like you're playing fucking Street Fighter or something, where like the background's just the background, has
Right.
nothing to do with where you're at, and there's no interact. And I don't know. It feels. I don't know what I expect. I don't know what I want. But like in the other Star Wars, even like the prequels, like where you see fucking Yoda, Yoda's bouncing off with shit and
Uh,
interacting with
yeah, the
shit and
rabbit on
throwing
cocaine.
shit. Like he's interacting with the space, so you really get a feel for that space. Imagine if they did it like a Street Fighter battle where it's just Yoda and fucking he's fighting the other, I can't remember, it's Dooku.
Yeah, Count Dooku.
They're fighting and like they just never interact with the background. Yeah, the background looks cool, but it's just there. It like doesn't exist to them. I don't know. It feels like I feel like I'm feeling what the actors are feeling. Like as they're acting, they're seeing it. That's the cool thing. The technology is cool because it's not a green screen. It's an LED screen that portrays the actual thing,
Right.
and then they go back in and refine it with CGI. But I don't know.
I think
It's just
I think
it
you're
bugs me
over.
in some scenes where I'm like, oh, I don't believe where you're at. There's nothing that is. I don't feel the space. I
Well,
feel like it's just a backdrop.
I think you're overthinking it. I think you're over, and I think, and I mean, I get where you're coming from, but there comes a point in sci-fi storytelling that you have to let go of the like the obvious physical this doesn't work and just
Yeah,
be like I'm here for the story. You know, and I think that's what you kind of have to just be like let me listen to the story, let me experience the story. Yeah,
right.
the visual isn't as immersive as I want it to be,
Well,
but
even like when Shin and Sabine fought, zero interaction with anything around them.
that's fair. I mean,
They
it
just
is.
fight.
That's fair.
It's like it's like when you take your senior pictures and they can put up whatever the fuck you want behind you.
Yeah.
No,
No,
no matter how realistic that beach looks, for some reason it feels a little off.
and we know.
And
Well, we also know that it's not right. I mean, we know
yeah,
it's not right. So I
well,
mean, yeah,
your brain can. I mean, I'm getting super nitpicky because honestly, that has nothing to do with. And like the weird part is, then when you go to like fully CGI scenes, like Hera and Chopper like flying through this, then you totally believe it. You feel like you believe the space. You believe they're flying after it, and they're, you know, and he's complaining that she went through his things. Like you're never taken out of the moment. But I don't know. So far, the couple fight scenes, it's felt really weird. Like I'm watching a Street Fighter fight or something. Where all right, here's the backdrop. Here's the map where we're fighting on. That is just back there.
I get that. I
We don't,
really do. That's makes a lot of sense.
like even if they just went across that little trench, because I think there was a trench there when Ahsoka was fighting the robot and the Inquisitor.
Yeah, yeah.
If they like went across the trench or got on a box or like, but no, they just like stayed on the flat ground and just fought.
I
And
think
nothing against Dave or like any of the choreography and anything. The fighting itself, you can tell Rosaria has worked really a lot since her debut in Mando.
right.
Like her fighting and like her saber battles and skills are definitely way better. It just feels a little weird, and it's always like in the back of my mind. Every fight we've seen so far, I'm like, man, it just like I've even seen a preview. We've all seen the preview. Sabine and Shin fight again out in the woods, and I'm just hoping when they do it, because remember when Ray and Kylo Ren fought in the woods?
Oh
They
yeah, they were
you believe the space. There was
right.
trees around them. They
Yep.
interacted with.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Now imagine if you remove all that interaction and the background looks exactly the same, but you just never interact with anything. I don't know.
No, I get it. No, no, no. Like I said, I think that you have a legitimate complaint about the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
Only certain
yeah.
scenes and saber battles I've noticed it the most.
Well,
It still looks pretty, like it's still really nice looking, like, but I don't know.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, you can't sit there and say, oh well, the Ray Kylo Ren thing, that was a big budget movie, and like, no, fucking Disney is throwing every dollar they have at
Yeah,
it with
Disney
it.
has so much
So
money, and they're
this
kind
isn't
of
it. So no. I think you have a legitimate. I think you have a legitimate complaint. But honestly, I think with storytellers like Filoni, it's less about everything else.
yeah,
It's less about this back here, and he's trying to pull you to the right here.
yeah. Well,
And
that's also his benefit of when you do animation, you don't have to do reshoots.
no,
You can completely reanimate the whole thing, make the voices and bodies fit. You can change whatever the hell you want. So if you're like, oh, this scene doesn't really work like this, it makes no sense, put him in a hangar instead. You just do that.
right, right,
Whereas
right.
live action, you can't.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, I think that you have a legitimate
I don't know, and
world
I feel
building
bad
problem.
too, because now anyone listening to this is gonna notice it. You're gonna notice it, and it's gonna bug you a little bit.
Hey,
But
see,
I'm still trying to focus on the positive because it's still really good, and the storytelling is good, and I like what Filoni's done.
well,
Like
I
I'm
think that.
excited for the next episodes,
Oh,
but
I'm so excited! Like I'm super super excited. I can't wait. I think that um, I mean maybe I'm willing to give a huge pass on some of those things just because it's Star Wars.
yeah,
But on the flip side too, I don't want this to come off as conceited, and I don't mean it that way. But as I'm spending more time doing D&D stuff and running adventures and telling stories,
yeah,
I get how hard it is to tell an immersive story.
yeah,
And I also understand that when you tell a story, there's things you want your audience to focus on, and there's things that you're less worried about them focusing on. And I think that's what's happening here is they want you to focus on the storytelling that's going on between Ahsoka and the Inquisitor
yeah.
and be
Well,
like,
think about that same scene that I'm complaining about, right? Her fighting the Inquisitor. It's also has one of the coolest moments of the two episodes so
oh, when
far.
she does the whole like, don't
When his
care.
blade comes back and
Yeah.
she's like, whatever, dude."
Which she's done
Yeah,
which she's done in the past in
yeah.
Clone Wars, and it's
Oh, I
another
saw
one of
one of the.
those like head nods to
Yeah.
how cool Clone Wars and Rebels was.
Well, along that same lines, I saw the funniest comment. Someone said, "I can't wait to see live action Inquisitor helicopter." You know where they do the with the
See,
lightsaber.
people bitch about that. They're like, well, that wouldn't happen and all that. That wouldn't happen in real life. Really? We're talking about people that can move things with their mind and a laser sword that
Yeah.
doesn't shoot off into
Well,
space. Like, fuck
and they
off.
can.
Like, get in the
Well, they.
story.
It's already been in almost every single Star Wars movie is a Jedi jumping like 60 fucking feet in the air.
Yeah, but we don't care about that because that's the Force. But nothing
Well,
says that
yeah,
you
it's the
can't.
same.
Yeah, no, you're
It's the
hundred
same
percent
thing.
right. 100% right. I don't give a shit. The spinning, the spinning lightsaber thing. That's
Yeah,
fucking cool because it comes
I
back to
want
the
to see
rule of
it.
cool. Yeah, I do too, because it comes back to the way. Like I said, I try not to contextualize it with what I'm doing with D&D, but I feel like that's how I.
Yeah.
That's the
Well, that's
lens
how
that
you
I'm seeing the
relate
world. Yeah,
to storytelling.
yeah.
So
And I just look at it and go, rule of cool. Fucking
yeah,
Inquisitor swinging in on a helicopter
yeah.
lightsaber?
I want to see
Goddamn,
him do it.
that's scary as shit.
I
I
want
mean,
to see him do it and interact with the fucking environment and not just have
yes,
a backdrop.
yes, I'm there. I'm there. I mean, it's like, oh, this couldn't happen. Goddamn, it's Star Wars, bro. We do shit and we measure it in parsecs and not units of time. Or, yeah, units of time.
Yeah.
So just, we don't.
Oh.
It's different here.
I, I
Like, fuck
I
off.
will say there has been one kind of difference I feel like that I've seen from Ahsoka, like on Twitter and all online. I've seen almost nothing but good, positive reviews about it.
Yeah, I've seen
Very few. It wasn't like before the movies and the other shows,
right,
and even the last
right.
season of Mando. It was like so negative, and
Well,
we were like, "What did every Call of Duty fucking kid come to our Star Wars community now? We're all so fucking negative about everything."
I remember a time in early Clone Wars when the show was just coming out where everyone was like, Anakin never had a Padawan, and she's such a girl, and he wouldn't tolerate her behavior and all this, and they just
Mm,
hated on Ahsoka. Like,
I
what's
know
it?
George
What's
Lucas said that was his idea to make her his Padawan.
yeah,
You're
but
you're you're arguing with the Godfather of fucking Star
yeah,
Wars.
but you know, all these fans just shit on us. Yeah, hashtag not my
Yeah.
Padawan.
Oh,
They
it's
shit
it's
on.
woke. Ray is woke.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I see. That's what annoys me is the people that has commandeered the anti Ray
yeah.
sentiments
Well,
and be like, oh, well, this
it's
is just woke. No, it's not. She's a
yeah.
poorly written character. She
Well,
has the
that's why
potential to
it's
be really
weird.
fucking cool, but they ruined her writing.
Yeah.
You don't, but that's not Daisy's fault. Daisy is a
No,
fantastic actress. She's a
she
fantastic
played the
person.
shit out of Ray. She is
Yeah,
Ray now.
yeah,
Unfortunately, she's gonna suffer. I've seen she has a new movie coming out, and like she's gonna suffer just like Daniel Radcliffe did. You're
yeah,
now that character, and unfortunately, everyone's gonna talk
yeah,
about you being that character. You're now Ray.
yeah.
It
I agree.
that's what's so weird. Ahsoka is mostly female characters, and I haven't really seen anyone. We had the episode we called Awoka. We predicted that people were going to bitch about
Yeah,
everyone being female and saying it's woke, and I just haven't seen it. And
yeah,
maybe
and
Elon
hope.
has fixed Twitter, and I just only see people that agree with me and think that Filoni's a master storyteller. I don't know.
Well, like I mean, it just makes me so angry that people have commandeered the negative side of the storytelling where I have legitimate storytelling concerns about the way these characters are portrayed, and then but because I have a negative opinion of them, you're just sexist or you're just whatever anti woke and all that. I'm like, no, I'm the wokest motherfucker around. I get it,
Yeah.
but it comes back to the fact there's like she just wasn't written well. The episodes 7, 8, and 9 were not written well.
Well,
You know,
7 started so well, and then it got kind of weird at the end, and then 8 and 9 just fucking it ruined Ray as a character. It didn't
well,
work.
it wasn't just Ray, and that's the thing is it wasn't just Ray that was ruined.
Oh, I remember I went to fucking 7 premiere dressed as Kylo Ren. It's the first time I've ever done cosplay dressed as
Warmed my heart, by the way.
you
Loved it.
can't even imagine my disappointment when Kylo Ren was a pussy little bitch. I have to walk out of there now embarrassed that I'm so sorry that I dressed as this character. I thought he's gonna be cool. I thought we were gonna see the Knights of Ren. I thought he's gonna be a badass. I didn't know he's gonna be a fucking little emo
I
crybaby.
mean,
Like,
he had a pretty good. I mean, I'll give like okay, so we bitch on the trilogy. I bitch on it a lot, but I'll say that he had the best arc of all of that series. Because he did come back to be what he needed to be. He needed to be this good side, rising to to the occasion. Luke Skywalker is apparently not going to fucking do it. That's a side problem that I have with the trilogy, a huge
yeah,
goddamn problem. But there's a scene in um episode 9 where they do the back thing. I'm gonna get back in frame where he does the whole thing and he comes over and he's got the lightsaber and they all look at him and he does the like, it is what it is. And I see his dad. I see Han Solo because that's
yeah,
literally that was the throwback to um
yeah.
in Return of the Jedi when they when they're fighting the shield generator and he comes out, and then all of a sudden, all of the Ewoks and stuff are in his back and all that, and he's got the gun, and he's like, what do you do? You know,
Yeah.
I really fucking like
Well,
that. But
well,
God
Adam
damn,
Driver acted the shit out. Adam
I
Driver's an amazing act. I don't think there's anyone else you could put in that fucking AT-AT or whatever the fuck it was and go more,
yeah,
more.
yeah,
I don't think
I
anyone
agree,
else could fucking nail
100%.
that scene as much as Adam Driver did. It's a fucking stupid scene in the way Luke's there and then he's gone from the universe or what. Stupid, but
Of course, it gets everywhere. I just saw that. Well done, Rebel. but no,
I
I have such issues with 7, 8, and 9,
the
and
whole fucking Vegas thing and the way we never saw the kids again that moved the broom and the way we never got fucking Flynn as a fucking
Finn, yeah.
Jedi or Finn, yeah, as a
They
fucking Jedi or
they
anything.
do
Like,
all the work setting him up to be a Jedi,
and do
and then
nothing
they're
with it.
like, nah. I just
When it comes back to, unfortunately, Disney was in a weird spot and couldn't pick writers, couldn't pick a director, and it fucking ruined the whole trilogy.
all right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I wish I think Wayne is no longer in here. He was in here earlier. Um, here's the thing when it comes to the writers and the way these movies were made, 7, 8, and 9. If you go back and you take all of the nostalgia, all of the feel good, all of the way back that we feel of the original trilogy, the original trilogy was never meant to exist. It was supposed to be the adventures of Luke Starkiller and the will of and the uh some and the something of the wills. The Journal of the Wills, The Adventures of Luke Starkiller and the Journal of the Wills. That was the original working title of the OG episodes for that Star Wars.
Where's the journal and who are the Wills?
Well, if I mean I can get super nerd and explain it to you.
No,
But
we're trying to do a short episode.
yeah, trying to be a short episode. But if you look at those 3 episodes as the way they're written,
Wait, are the journal of the will? Is this all coming back? Is that what he was? The sacred texts.
well, no.
Is that the journal
Well,
of the wills were in there?
the wills were a species of creatures that were hyper aware of the Force.
Oh.
And if you go back to Rogue One, and you see where Chirrut, however you say his name, the blind guy, they were protecting the Temple of the Wills. Like that's why they were there on they're on that planet. That was the whole thing, is they were troublemakers that were defenders of the Temple of the Wills. So I mean, it does have a little bit of canon belonging now, but anyway, we can do a whole subject on the Wills later. I would love to.
We'll do
love
that
to,
later.
love to. But
Now we're focusing on right now.
But if you look at 6, 7, or 4, 5, and 6 as a cohesive story from 1977 to 1985 or
They're
1987,
not really.
they're not. They're really not well connected. There's a lot of retconning that goes back and forth that doesn't make any sense when you look at it that way.
Even in the same movies, which makes sense when you look back on it and you realize Industrial Light and Magic was working with George and they were making up a lot of shit on the spot. They were making up ships on the spot and they were making up techniques on the fucking lasers and like everything got made up on the spot. So even as you watch movies, as you see techniques developed during that single movie, it doesn't really make sense across the course of one movie.
Where I'm going with this, and this is what I'm interested to see in another 15 years. I want to look back on episodes 7 and 8 in 15 years and go, okay, do I enjoy 7 and 8 as a cohesive story?
No.
Like I do 4 and 5, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Because there's a lot of discontinuity between the two movies.
I don't think I'll ever like 8. I've pretty much written off 8 and 9. I still like 7. It's one of my favorite Star Wars
Seven.
movies. There's so many moments in it, and there's so many callbacks, and there's so much fun shit in it. I fucking love BB-8. I love
See, I feel
the
that way about Episode 8. I feel
I don't
exactly like that because there's a number of really good moments in Episode 8 that's like, God damn, that's good Star Wars. Like the red throne room fight scene. God damn, that lightsaber battle is so fucking good. It is just fantastic. And then you have the conversation between and I've said this a million times on this show and I'll say it again because it's changed me and my core level. Like as a person it's changed me. When
throne room fight scene?
No, the conversation between Luke and Yoda.
Oh, okay.
At the burning of the tree in the sacred text where Yoda says we are what they grow beyond. That line, I'm going to get that tattooed somewhere because that was such a powerful as a parent that really just it hits me in a level that is like, yeah, as parents, we want our kids to be better than us. We want them to do better, be better, and all that. So we are what they grow beyond. And that hit me, it hit me in the feels, Oreo. Like, I feel it on an emotional level when I see that scene, because every time I see it, I think of my kids, especially the twins, and be like, man, they really are. They're way better than me. They're doing way better than I was at their age. They're going to be better than I am. They're going to be everything I wanted to be. They're going to go do it. And that came from the movie that I'm just like, Princess Leia is Mary Poppins, and I saw a TikTok today, Oreo, and it changed my whole thought about the end of Episode 8. Where if you remember in Episode 9 when they're trying to figure out how they're going to deal with the Sith fleet, and the actor that played Mary from Lord of the Rings was like, oh, we should try some Holdo maneuvers, and then Finn's like, oh, that shit was 1 in a million. That was 1 in a million. And then you go back and you look at Episode 8 where she went to hyperspeed and she cut through Snoke's ship. Supposedly that was a 1 in a million chance. So it begs the question of, was she really trying to do that maneuver and sacrifice herself? Or was she just fucking running? If it was a 1 in a million chance, what was going to happen the other 999,999 times? She going to run? She a fucking traitor? What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
It just, there was
Or maybe she was just hoping for the best and had no idea if it would do anything.
Yeah, but then you turn around and be like,
you're dead anyway. Like you might as well try something.
But then you turn around and then you look at things. It's like, if this was such a grand maneuver, why wasn't this done before? Why didn't she just say
1 in a million?
Right.
1 in a million.
It's
kid.
1 in a million. So just imagine. Let's flip the script, and she'd have been like, "Yeah, I'm going to try this, and we'll see if it works." And then she ends up entering hyperspace before she hits Snoke's ship. Could you imagine the fucking troopers down on the planet going, "Well, she just left."
What now?
Yeah. Like, what now? They were all doomed.
There needs to be a fan edit of that. just and she just leaves. And they're like,
so then
what
you look
do we do now?
Yeah. So then you look at it like, then Holdo, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours later comes out of hyperspeed.
She was on the ship by herself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%.
So
yeah. So she just leaves. So she comes
She's
out of
like,
hyperspace.
"Woo."
Yeah. She comes out of
Now
hyperspace.
where do I hide? They're gonna be so pissed.
Yeah. Well, she comes out of hyperspace like 2 hours later, and she's just like, "What the fuck happened?" And meanwhile, all of the resistance is wiped out. They all die. Everybody's dead.
She's trying to call back, no answer.
Yeah.
Huh.
Luke can only do so much at that point. But it's just like, who thinks of that? Like, why is this a good idea? We've been told it literally in the very beginning of Star Wars in May of 1977. Han Solo says, jumping through hyperspace is not like dust and crops, boy. You can jump right through a supernova and that'll end your journey real quick. straight up tells you that this isn't, this isn't easy. This isn't just something you can just fucking do. But no, she can fucking do it. No, she can just jump and go. No problem. So I have so many issues. I have so many good and so many bad with episode 8. Because when they're in that other city and they go and they meet they go and they meet Poe's like former friends, and like there's this like, oh, you left us to go do this, like fuck you and all this. They had these really cool characters. And nobody knows who the fuck they are. Nobody can name them now. Like you created these cool characters, cool costumes, and they're just like, we don't need them anymore. But on top of that, episode 8 has my favorite droid of all time. It has Dio in it. Where Dio.
You like Dio?
Yeah, well, I love it because they go to touch him and he's like, "No, thank you." It's like, I get that. I respect that. But then you turn around and they give her the fucking, then you go into episode 9 and she's got the fucking dagger. And they're like, "Oh, this is the this is the Sith dagger that's like 3,000 years old. This dagger has done."
It still perfectly matches up. Erosion doesn't exist in Star Wars.
Yeah. This dagger is 1,000 years old, but it happens to match up with some debris that happened about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we can't talk about this dagger.
We can't talk about it because the writers don't know how to explain it. Let's just go."
Yeah. Well, we can't talk about it because this dagger has done evil things. Meanwhile, Rey's got the fucking Youngling Slayer 9000 in her pocket, and we don't talk about that. That ain't no big deal. But it's just
that'd have been funny if they had her
writing.
touch her hip and she makes a look.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still excited for that. Like I said, that's really my only complaint is the fucking weird Street Fighter scenes. Other than that, I'm really liking Ahsoka. I'm excited for Filoni. He's done some of the coolest fucking Star Wars shit. Well, you want to hear the dumbest fucking theory I've heard from Ahsoka?
Go ahead, because I'm going to tell you my theory, and then we're going to call it a night.
The dumbest fucking theory I've seen. You're like, what was the one I said earlier? Oh, the Inquisitor's fucking Ezra. That one's pretty dumb. This one blows that out of the water for fucking on the stupidity scale. Someone said, "I'm pretty sure Shin is Omega." I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna hurt you. Shut the fuck up."
Who said that? You don't talk about Darth Mommy that way.
God damn. Someone on Twitter said that. I couldn't even comment on it because I was like, no, just blocking you.
No, yeah, she should. Yeah, Omega would be in her 50s at this point.
Yeah, and no, yeah,
assuming that she's even still alive.
Well, we'll see. In 2025, Bad Batch 3 is being started production.
Well, here's my. I don't want to call it speculation. I don't want to call it like
hope.
Well,
is this your hope?
Yeah, this is kind of my hope. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go out and say it. This is my hope. I know it's 100%.
This is your wants?
This is my dream. This is my dream, Oreo.
Oh, that's a good word. Okay.
This is my dream. Do you remember the episodes of Rebels where? No, I'm sorry. Of Clone Wars. Did you watch Clone Wars?
No, I've only seen a few episodes. Okay. I haven't seen all of
it. Did you ever watch the episodes of the Clone Wars where Anakin and Ahsoka deal with the father and the brother and the sister?
No, I don't think so.
So the father or the brother and the sister are physical representations of the Force itself. And the episodes progress where they have the ability, the father, brother, and sister have the ability to move between worlds in the realm of the world between worlds. You see it in you see it in Clone Wars
during the Darth Vader.
Yes, you see it in the Clone Wars, but it started in Clone Wars. And you get more information about it where you're right, where Ahsoka travels between the worlds and deals with Anakin or Darth Vader and all that.
Well, then the Emperor somehow does it with Ezra.
Right. So here's the thing. There is an entrance to the world between worlds on Lothal. Like that's, Ezra and Kanan, they found that entrance. Well, I guess Ezra did. Ezra found that entrance, and it all ties together. So there's a possibility that the way the world between worlds works is you see all the possibilities of the future outcomes all at once. And you can choose and pick and choose where you want to be on that timeline of either your timeline or a congruent timeline. So,
is that where you think Thrawn and Ezra are going to be? So
no,
Ezra's not in this one, and Thrawn is because he wins.
no. This is my dream. It's not possible. It's not going to happen because they're not going to do it. But
I don't have Filoni's phone number anymore. He's changed his number, so I won't be able to.
But here's the thing: the world between worlds is the Star Wars solution to the multiverse. Anything can happen and nothing can happen because they have access to the world between worlds. And because that is a thing, nothing says that whatever is happening between now and the culmination leading into episode 7, the world between worlds could retcon all of it. Because the world between worlds is every possible existence happening at the same time. It's just like Marvel's multiverse. It's the same fucking thing. Yeah. So, in theory,
Palpatine could return.
Palpatine could not return.
Oh, okay.
And we could retcon all of 7, 8, and 9, and what we're seeing from Ahsoka forward is just the Filoniverse, fixing all the problems of 7, 8, 9. I know that's not going to happen. I know it.
That's not how he's going to do it, but Filoni has said and promised fans. I'll have to find the interview. He basically said, we will correct. I don't think that's a word he used because that sounds really negative, and Filoni's so positive all the time.
Right the wrongs. That's my opinion.
I'll put it the way he meant it. We'll fix the fuck ups of 7, 8, and 9. I don't remember the verbiage he used.
And it can
but
all
he
be.
He basically said, we'll fix it in
Fuck
becoming.
You, Fuck you.
In Ahsoka season 1 and season 2, and in Bad Batch season 3, it won't really have anything to do with it. That's just going to be fun character stuff. But yeah, in Mando 4 and Ahsoka season 1 and season 2, and then the movie trilogy that's planned, which one of them Taika Waititi's filming right now. Taika Waititi's a fucking killer director, so I'm really excited what they let him do. I'm just hoping the thing where he kind of thrives, Taika, is when they let him do what the fuck he wants to do. Wow. Thor Ragnarok was that. They didn't give him anything. A bunch of that fucking movie, like 60% of that movie is fucking made up on the spot. Wasn't even scripted. If you just let him go fucking to town and get Kathleen fucking Kennedy out of there, and stop trying to poke her fucking nose in and everything,
Fuck off.
It'll be a good Star Wars movie. But if they try and control him too much, again, it doesn't matter what director or what actor. You have all these pillars, and if all of them aren't great, the whole thing can crumble. It doesn't matter if you have great actors and great CGI and great writing. If you have a bad fucking cinematography, then it falls apart. Any one of the, and that's kind of the thing that's so hard with, again, that animation is easier. I'm not saying what, Filoni was easier. I'm just saying he's really good at fucking telling stories with animation. And being able to just change everything on the fly really helps. You're not as like, the pillars aren't as structurally like, if one pillar kind of crumbles, you can kind of like patch it back up super easily and doesn't really cost. It costs money, but not as much as live action.
Right. Well,
yeah,
I think we have beat this horse.
Yeah, we beat and shot it a couple times.
So we will readdress our grievances next week with episode 3, or our delights. Like, I'm excited. There's so much to look forward to.
Yeah, I know there are some space battles, some what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. Find quicker because I have to pee.
Space battle. I don't know. Ship shooting at each other. Whatever the fucking word.
I'm fucking dying over here. Like, I gotta pee.
Dog
Hurry
fighting.
up.
I don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. Whatever.
But yeah, no. I hope everybody. If you're in the live stream, Rabble. I know you were here. I saw Wayne earlier. Um, Thanks for hanging out in the live
Yeah,
stream,
even on the off day.
and even on the off day when Mystery, you missed a spot in the ice cream machine. You need to go back and fix that. Um,
Yeah,
Rob, you need to go ahead and take that.
he's sleeping.
What?
He's not been listening.
Well, no, he's not. He's not here. But now that he's listening to it after the
He tuned
fact,
out. The battery died on his hearing
oh
aid. It
yeah,
started
yeah,
going,
yeah, yeah. As soon as we started talking about Star Wars, he was like, "I'm done."
He's
Yeah,
done.
he's
He turned
done.
that shit off.
Yeah, he's fucking done. So, Rob, be sure you take your stool softener because you'll probably need it.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Good luck with the hemorrhoids, buddy.
yeah. So yeah, we'll go ahead and let's call it here because I'm about to piss myself.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have a cream of the week, anyways. So
This isn't a creep. This is an all Star Wars all the time episode.
Ahsoka's cream of the week. Go watch it, I guess.
Yep, go watch it. All right. Good night, guys. Appreciate it.